Of course, full spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen Endgame yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. Disney did a wealth of fake trailers, so you probably don't know as much as you think, and the film deserves to be seen unspoiled. This is your last chance to back out, but if you're still here, thank you for clicking the video, I hope you enjoy it. Now let's get into the full plot breakdown of Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame opens with Hawkeye training his daughter with a bow and arrow at a picturesque family picnic before they themselves are made targets and are mercilessly taken out by the snap. Instantly, this grounds the film and reminds you that even heroes who haven't had anything to do with the Infinity War have been left victims by it. We then cut to Tony and Nebula adrift in space, with the former recording his message to Pepper. Tony falls asleep and awakens to see Captain Marvel outside of the ship, who helps them return to Earth, which is where they meet up with the rest of the survivors. The film doesn't feature the post-credit scene from Captain Marvel's standalone movie, so from that we can guess that she arrived on Earth and then heard Tony was missing and spent the rest of the time searching for them in space. Now, we'd heard rumours that Tony and Nebula may get out of the situation using Anulax batteries that Rocket stole in Guardians 2, so I think this feels like a bit of a disservice to Tony's ingenuity. Being rescued by Captain Marvel instead of saving themselves is the only criticism with the film that I have though, and I suppose it speeds up the character introductions. The movie then follows the surviving Avengers attempting to track down Thanos, whose location is given away by Nebula because she knows of a garden that he said he would retire to upon completing his final goal. They want to get the gauntlet back no matter the cost and reverse the snap. Tony, however, doesn't want to be part of it, and this film expertly showcases Downey's range of emotions when acting, and you get the feeling that he just wants to leave it all behind and start again. The rest of the group journey to Thanos' planet and arrive to find him alone, and he informs them that he used the gauntlet to destroy the stones because he doesn't want anyone to change his decision. The look of this scene is ripped straight out of the comics, even down to the fruit that Thanos collects, and it's an amazing Easter egg. Unfortunately for Thanos, the second power surge nearly killed him and he's very weak. Thor goes for the head this time, killing him in the process, and they return to Earth, which is when we fast forward 5 years. At this point, the world is in complete disrepair. Everything is run down, and those who've been left behind are bitter, and there are rumours that Hawkeye is acting as a vigilante and massacring gangs. Whilst the Avengers still operate, many of them are broken, especially Black Widow, and you get the feeling that she would do anything to set the world straight again, which plays into her character arc and eventual sacrifice. Captain Marvel returns to space as many other planets are destroyed, and we get a nice little Joe Russo cameo at the survivors meeting held by Captain America. Cut to Louise's van, which is inside a storage unit, and after a rat crawls over the quantum controls, Scott is freed. We follow him as he walks the streets, confused as to why everything looks like 28 days later, before he arrives at a memorial with all of the names of the vanished on a large stone. After reuniting with his daughter and discovering what's happened, he goes to the only place he knows that can make a difference, Avengers HQ. After telling them about the quantum realm and its time manipulation possibilities, they visit Tony to ask for help, but he turns them down as he's happy with life. Bruce has also become Professor Hulk, and he helps the Avengers build a machine to find the stones in the past. Unfortunately, the machine is faulty, so Scott can't go back, which is when Tony returns, giving Cap his shield and stating that he will help. What I love about this section is that it showcases that Stark can't rest when he knows something is wrong. Watching Downey Jr. grapple with the choice of losing the life he loves or granting one for everyone else is inspired, and he really becomes the hero of the film from this point onwards. Together they recruit the rest of the Avengers, including Hawkeye, War Machine, Rocket, Nebula and Thor, who looks like he was ripped straight out of The Big Lebowski. They travel through time to different parts of Avengers history, and there are some amazing callbacks, cameos and an incredibly heart-touching moment between Tony and his father in which they discuss parenting. A young Stan Lee also makes an appearance, as well as Peggy Carter, Hank Pym, Zola, the Avengers, Director Pierce and more. Jarvis as well, I had to add that in because damn, that moment was just amazing. I've seen some critics say that this segment is far too full of fan service, but honestly, when it's at this level, it's absolutely amazing. Everything feels perfect, and even the most obscure reference, such as Cap saying Hail Hydra, gets a nod. This section allows each character to realise what they've lost and what they're fighting for, and I love the emotional loss that Thor feels when meeting his mother on the day that she would die, balanced with the comedic dancing of Peter Quill in the opener of Guardians. It's also at this point that the main threat of Thanos returns. Whilst Marvel teased an even bigger threat than Thanos, they were ultimately fooling us depending on how you look at it. Younger Thanos is perhaps more bloodthirsty, and the awareness of their plan coupled with the loss of Black Widow at this point really hammers home just how high the stakes are. Though they retrieve the stones is at a cost, and even when Hulk returns everyone by snapping his fingers, you get the feeling that it's only causing a new level of danger. Past Thanos is pulled through the portal by Nebula and he completely devastates the base. He states that he realizes the flaw in his plan and that the people that are left behind by the snap will always feel loss. Therefore, the only choice he sees is to reduce all life in the universe to a single atom and to start again in his image. In Infinity War, Thanos stated that he never wished to become a god, but it's clear that he did, and even the world being created in 6 days and having God rest on the 7th is similar to Thanos' goal of collecting 6 stones and resting at the end of it. In the end, Captain America, Thor and Tony team up against Thanos, but Thanos beats them pretty mercilessly. Just as he's about to kill Thor, Cap manages to wield Thor's hammer and uses it to smash him down. Thanos summons his entire army, including the Black Order, and it looks like Cap is going to be all alone, which is when he hears Sam's voice and pretty much everyone returns and they charge him. This is a phenomenal moment, and I really can't hammer home just how good this looks on the big screen. During this, Hawkeye has managed to get the Infinity Gauntlet, which gets passed about as a sort of MacGuffin, with everyone trying to get it. Eventually, Captain Marvel arrives, destroys Thanos' ship, and takes it, but Thanos wrestles it off her, which is when Tony realizes why Doctor Strange sacrificed the Time Stone in Infinity War in exchange for his life. He then snaps his fingers, wiping out all of Thanos' forces and Thanos himself. Tony, heavily damaged by the gauntlet, is finally able to rest after being reassured by Pepper that everyone is okay. At his funeral, a holographic Tony gives a message to everyone, including his daughter. Everyone is there, including the young boy from Iron Man 3 who's all grown up, which I've seen some people get confused about, but it's definitely him, so I thought I'd touch on that. Thor designates Valkyrie as the Queen of Asgard and he joins the Guardians of the Galaxy, renaming them the Asgardians of the Galaxy. It's clear that Quill is looking for Gamora, who was brought to the future, and I can definitely see this route being the direction that Guardians 3 goes down. Cap goes on a mission to return the stones to their proper places, and Hulk says that he should be back in 5 seconds, but he doesn't return. At this moment, Sam and Bucky see an old man sitting at a bench and they realise it's Cap. Steve has a wedding ring on and he also passes his shield to Sam, who's honoured to take up the mantle. We then cut to a young Captain America dancing with Peggy Carter at their house, which there wasn't a dry eye in the house at this point. Steve finally got that dance that he promised to make all the way back in the first Avengers, and it's just an amazing moment and call back to that scene. So what could happen going forward? Well, Sam and Bucky are due to appear in a Marvel spin-off series, and Loki, who manages to escape confinement in this film with a Tesseract, will also be getting his own show. I can see these two interweaving, and of course Vision will be rebuilt to star in the new show WandaVision. Overall, Steve getting to live the life that he did showcases that everyone deserves happiness. Tony, though apparently selfish, sometimes became selfless much in the same way that Cap did, so that Cap could enjoy life much in the same way that Tony did in those 5 years of happiness. Whilst Tony died, it is the way of people to do so, and Morgan provides the future that he always wanted to have, surrounded by those who can inspire and love her much in the same way that he did. It's an amazing message and one that really pulls at your heartstrings. The film doesn't have a post-credit scene, but in all honesty, it doesn't need to. This is a perfect closing of a book that was started way back in 2008. Doctor Strange said that there were 14 million different possibilities, and out of all of them, this is the best one we could have got. The movie is a masterpiece from start to finish and feels like an achievement that won't be topped in cinema for a long time. I cried multiple times, laughed out loud on several occasions, and also felt a great sense of joy when leaving the theatre that I haven't had since the Dark Knight trilogy concluded. This is an amazing film and easily one of the best, if not the best comic book movie ever made. The Endgame ended perfectly, and I can't wait to watch it again. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film and if you agree with me. Comment below and let me know your review, and if you enjoyed this video then please like it and make sure you check out my breakdown of the entire leaked plot so you can see what was right and what wasn't. This is a channel for people who are super into superheroes, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.